papers. They are found in our everyday life, in books, in copy papers, towels, packaging, and even in the trash cans. But have you ever thought where did they came from or how it costs the environment? So let's figure it out. Oh, but wait a minute. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below. Now we can start.
New stuffs to know.
Hello everyone, this is Dr. Khalil. Actually, this video was planned to be uploaded on the Earth's Day on 22nd of April, but unfortunately for some technical reasons, it's delayed until now. But today we will talk about papers, but in a way that will make you think about it again. Of course, the digital revolution helped us in our great humanity jump and is controlling our life in many aspects, but that didn't make the paper obsolete. And our story for finding something to write on has been started since the beginning of the history, as we used rocks and cave walls to write and draw our ideas. However, for papers, it started before about 5,000 years ago in Old Egypt, when the Egyptians pressed the papyrus strips together to form the first writing surface that resembled the papers. And if you didn't notice, the word paper is derived from the papyrus planet name. Then the Chinese came with a paper design that was much similar to the modern papers in 100 BCE by mixing chopped mulberry bark, old hemp threads, and fishnets with water. And it was a Chinese secret until the 8th century, when the Arabs captured some of the Chinese paper workers. So the paper making spread to the Islamic world, where the process was refined and the machinery was designed for bulk manufacturing. Then it reached Europe in the 5th century, but before that, they were using papyrus. Actually, the modern paper making started at the 19th century, and the paper was made using linen, but that was impractical. Until 1844, when Forshall got inspired by wasps' nests to make a paper from trees, using its cellulose from their logs. And the cellulose is a glucose polymer that formed the main fibrous unit of the tree. And by 2020, there are more than 5 million tons of papers are produced each year, and the USA, China, and Japan are the main paper makers, and they form about 50% of world paper production. Nowadays, the paper production started by cutting down the trees, then the bark is removed from the logs. After that, it cut into chips, and finally boiled in water to break down the lignin, which is a substance holds the cellulose fibers together. Then adding a bleach substance to give the paper its white color, with some other substances and pigments, which determine the properties of the paper as needed. Then it's pressed, dried, and rolled up in huge rolls, and voila, we've got a paper pulp, which is thick and less refined version of the paper. And the last step is stretching it out and cut down into desired sizes. And there are various types of trees used in production, but 85% of them belong to coniferous trees, mainly pine, fir, and western hemlock. And here where the question comes: how many trees are needed for this industry? Actually, it takes 12 trees to make a ton of paper, which means that one tree makes 17 reams of copy papers, and the ream equals 500 sheets. And we are making a lot of demand on paper. For example, the offices worldwide uses about 12 trillion A4 papers each year, and about 35% of the wastes are paper or paper products. So to cover all of that demand, 40% of the cut timber is for paper making. So each year there are over 900 million trees harvested for paper alone, and the rainforests are being cut down at a rate of 2,000 trees per minute. So unfortunately, there are about 9,000 trees are cut just from the beginning of this video. Adding to that, the water wasting, as one sheet of paper needs 10 liters of water in addition to the used chemicals and pollutants. However, the problem didn't stop here, because when we get rid of papers, we usually burn it, which will emit carbon dioxide. Or if we landfill it, it will emit methane, and both considered as greenhouse gases. Also, paper production considered as a 5th energy consumer worldwide. And if you don't understand the importance of the trees,
let me tell you that they are considered as the harbor of many species. This means that the cutting reduces the biodiversity. Also, they stabilize the soil to prevent the erosions. Besides, they work as effective water pump that pulls the water from the ground to the air. And in addition to that, every tree generates about 6.5 tons of oxygen each year and stores about a ton of carbon dioxide. So now, what should we do? Starting by ourselves, as we should follow the general rule of reduce, reuse, and recycle. And this could happen by reducing the amount of used papers, by turning into virtual writing, reviewing the drafts on the computer, sending emails instead of paper letters, and reading the e-books instead of the hard copies, because one tree can provide 16 copies of a 1,000-page book. Estimated that the printed book sold in the US annually requires 30 million trees. But if you count it up, the e-reading, don't feel guilty for reading paper books, because reading is all that matters. And reuse, like printing on the two sides of the paper and write on all pages of your notebook, and recycle by delivering the used papers to the recycling points, as one sheet of paper could be recycled and reused for about 6 to 7 times, and each ton of recycled papers saves about 17 trees, or about 90,000 square kilometers of forest land. Also, when the papers couldn't be recycled furthermore, it could be turned into biofuel. And if you start following these measures, you will save about 7 trees each year.
And now, to be honest, there's a good change in this industry in the recent years, as they start doing more recycling, and they are using bamboo, hemp, and sugar cans instead of the trees, which are considered as a blended waste and usually burned off. But all of that wouldn't be enough if we didn't start to change ourselves. Otherwise, there would be no trees left on the earth after 100 years. So I just wanted to appreciate this gift and don't look at them as just papers, but as a part of thing that costs the environment a lot. And by the way, I've started myself, as I reused used papers for this video and drafted the script on my laptop. So guys, if you like this video and you want to see more of this type of videos, give us a thumbs up and don't forget to hit the subscribe button and leave a comment down below on what you want to see in the next videos. Stay safe guys, peace.